You got obviously a big road test coming up this weekend. I know it's looking at the stats at Cornell, kind of seems similar to you guys in that they haven't had maybe as great a home success as normal. What do you think about? Is this a year where maybe Lina is a little more of a winnable game than it might normally be? Or?
Well, I think it's always going to be a tough place to play in. Obviously, I think sometimes same with us. Sometimes when you're on the road, you keep the game simpler. You get pucks deep. You play physical, and you got to play with a lot of energy. And sometimes when you get home, you try and go the other route where you don't do the little things well. You try and be a little bit too fancy. And I thought, especially Friday night here, that was the case. So and I. Obviously, going into that place with the injuries we have right now, we have to keep the game simple. We got to keep the pucks along the wall and get pucks deep and keep it simple as possible. And it's been a tough place for us to play the last few years, and we're certainly going to need a big effort out of our guys.
It does look like they've picked up a little bit too since earlier. They were struggling earlier year, but what do you feel about the way they're playing right now?
Well, they're no matter what, because they play so disciplined within their system, they're always a tough team to play. And I thought the game up here, I thought we actually played well in that game, and I certainly didn't feel it was a 6-1 game. And we had a lot of opportunities, and I thought we played well that game. And it's hard to say when you get beat that bad, but they're a much different team, and I think we're better. And obviously, we're a little short man right now, and guys are gonna have to step up and make a difference for the guys that are out.
Yeah, I did want to kind of just get an injury update too. Like, what's kind of the current, who's definitely not going to be there this
Well,
weekend?
Mark Borough is definitely not going to play as Nick is not healthy yet. Pokaluk, so they're both out. Ben Sexton's not ready yet, so those three guys will not be making the trip. And I think for all three of them, we're not going to rush them back at this stage. We got to start preparing for the playoffs, and we don't want to lose them long term. And we ran the risk of Mark that this weekend playing him, and obviously. His ankle's in bad shape right now, so we're gonna rest him this weekend and hopefully have him back the following weekend. And same with Nick. I think he may be back the next weekend, but again, we're not going to rush that.
Would this be a week maybe where Oakley might be back there on D?
Well, yeah, I think I mean, we're not sure what our combinations would be. We got the flu bug going through the team right now, also, so I'm not sure which guys will be able to play, and hopefully it'll run its course by then. But it's certainly, I think he's done a pretty good job back there, and if we need him back there, we can always move him back.
As far as the weekend, I didn't want to overlook Colgate too. Obviously, that's another interesting game because that's a place where they've done well against you guys in their building, and it seems like those games are always pretty low scoring. This year, so it's kind of an exception. We played a 3-3 tie, but what do you kind of expect from them on Saturday?
Well, I think they're going through similar to what we went through last year. I mean, they clearly got a good hockey club. I think they got 8 or 9 NHL draft choices, and they've just lost so many one-goal games this year that losing when you start getting in that kind of rut, it's tough to get out of it. And we went through it last year a little bit. And, they got a good club, and if you're not in there ready to play, and if you get in a track meet with them, they got the skilled guys that are going to hurt you. So, we'll concentrate on Friday, but we know Saturday's not going to be easy. They're a much better team than their record indicates, and obviously, they came in here and got a 4-4 tie, and we actually had to come back in that game. So it's not going to be easy for us in either building this weekend.
And the last subject I was going to touch on was just goaltending with this. I think this is the 1-year anniversary of Chris's first game with you guys on the staff. How have you seen his being here impact the way the goalies have done?
Well, I think he's been a great addition to the staff. I mean, he complements Greg and I. He's got a great, easygoing personality. I think he's fit in well with the players, and obviously I think he's made a big difference with our goaltenders, not just Paul, but all three of them. I think all three of them have improved quite a bit over the course of Chris's tenure here, and it's nice to have somebody that can sit down and watch tape with them, break it down, and work with them in practice, and have goalie practice, working on specific things that each guy needs to work on. And I'm sure if you talk to them, they would say the same thing. I think he's been a great addition, not only for our goaltenders, but for the team in general.
Yeah, I did ask Paul about this too. Obviously, the incident last week. What did that show you? I know it's tough to lose a player for a game, but when Carlasco was willing to kind of jump in there and stick up for his goalie, it's just, for freshmen and stuff. What did that show you guys about him?
Well, I think that's been our MO all year as a team. It happened against Brown where a guy took a shot at Jake late and Borough stepped in there, and they were going hard to the net. Princeton on Saturday, and to their credit, got him a goal, and I think the guy obviously slashed Paul after the whistle had blown, and Paul had it covered. And we, any team's going to protect their goalie, and I'm glad Mike stepped in. Obviously, I thought he was playing very well up to date, and you hate to lose a player for that game and the next game, but sometimes you got to do those things, and I think it's a compliment, or it's an indication of how close our guys are, and certainly Paul. He's been such a key for us this year, and we got to make sure that guys aren't taking liberties with him.
And what's it up to when he's willing to? Because every once in a while he'll kind of, have something like that happen where he just kind of not loses it, but kind of gets angry. But how does that motivate the team? Or if those few times where he kind of speaks up or, just shows emotion like that.
Yeah, I think it's always good to show emotion, and I think he was frustrated with the like I said, the one goal their guy goes right in and pushes the puck in, and they reviewed it, and clearly shouldn't have been a goal that. But those things happen. So I think he was frustrated. I mean, it happened more than on that occasion. And when teams go to the net hard, if the refs aren't going to, take charge and stop, if you give them a penalty, then that type of those things will stop. And that guy clearly took a slash on him, and I think he just had enough. And that's frustrating. And hey, we tell our guys the same thing. If they're not going to call it, and we went to the net hard a few times and got called for the penalties. And I wish they'd do that on a more consistent basis, because that's supposed to be a protected area. And when teams go into that crease area, they're supposed to be protected. So hopefully, it won't happen. But if the referees aren't going to call it, then it's both teams are going to be told to go hard to the net, and understandably so.
Thanks, George.